Hey, good morning. Now
Morning.
that you've reached this point, you've gotten to the end of the regular season, got the conference tournament ahead. How do you kind of look back now at sort of the oddity of this regular season and kind of look ahead to what will be an unorthodox conference tournament?
Yeah, you know what? I for such a young, immature group when we started, Wayne, to an oddity is a great word to use, right? Uh, I think we handled it very well. I'm very, very proud of our guys. I'm proud of our staff and our administration. You've heard me say this many a times, but we've handled a lot of these crazy changes, right? And schedule changes within 48 hours of a new game, and sort of sitting around for a week waiting to see how if we're going to get to the next game, and false positives and other teams' protocols. I think our guys up until now have handled it very, very well, and to be at this point, we're playing for a regular season championship. The last game of this regular season is that's big time. That's good stuff. Didn't get it done, but with this group, we really got better throughout the regular season and put ourselves in a position here to try to cash in here the rest of the way.
And of course, from this group, only Corey and Vince have played in a A10 tournament just after last year's was canceled. So, what are you hammering home to your guys this week about the intensity of a conference tournament setting, the urgency of it? What will be the message to you guys about that this week?
Let's go win. Let's go win. The urgency of it, of course, but let's be us. I think this, even though we're young, this group all year long has had urgency to play and win basketball games, and that I think we're a competitive group. We just now there's an urgency here to go win the next one, right? And that's all that matters. And that's the approach we have to have this week in practice leading up to Friday's game.
And then just lastly, have you learned any more at this point about Bones, Vince, and Mikhail so far?
No, I mean they're day to day. So they got rehab all day yesterday and this morning, and they will again this afternoon. We'll get together here in a little bit and just sort of be updated by everybody. It's one of these things now. We got a little bit of time, so it's day to day to make sure they're doing things right, and that we can get them on the court here. For a couple days of practice into the game on Friday. Have them everybody ready to go.
Thank you.
But
Lane, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, is Keyshawn also battling some stuff? Is there any update on him?
what do you mean battling stuff?
I didn't know it was.
He's at home with his family.
He's okay. Is he? Is do you anticipate him being available this week?
No, no.
Um, do you guys? At what point this week? Like, how different is this week of setup and practice and everything? You'll learn your opponent later tonight, tomorrow morning, and I guess the whole week. Do you have to kind of do a bunch of different preps for whoever your opponent might be, since this is tournament review, or you work on yourself? How different is this week of practice for you guys?
Well, the biggest thing is working on yourself more than anything. Have our guys ready to go. We will respect all our opponents, but it's all about us. The way we prepare, I think, we'll prepare for certain things other teams do that we may play, but it always comes back to us and our style of play, and doing scout reports and getting closer to that game. We'll zero in on some stuff, but it's about us. It's about making sure we're right for Friday.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Mark Davis.
Hey, good morning, Mike. I just wanted to ask about kind of, how does the mindset, the atmosphere, everything like that change when you hit March Madness and postseason? I mean, you guys try to approach every game the same, no doubt, but, I would imagine there's kind of a extra bounce in the locker room when you get to this point of the season.
Oh,
No?
absolutely. It's March, right? Everybody knows that you guys come to college to want to play in March, and you get to play in a great A10 conference tournament, and then have a chance to move on after that. So they all know. I mean, if you don't know, I don't want those guys on my team, right? Everybody knows the urgency of being on top of your stuff, of your game. And I think that's very important. But our approach, honestly, we've had a couple times this year where we've had a full week off, right? things out of our control to get ready for a Saturday game or a Wednesday to Wednesday game. So we've been through that before. So it's not idle time, right? It's getting work time and getting your shots up, getting your body right, and trying to be as close to 100 at this time of the year to be ready to play in the conference tournament. I think the guys will be excited for that. So we've been through that, but the urgency of this time of year being March, that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. If you're not excited, I don't want you playing.
Well, and no doubt, we're coming up on a year now. Well, last year was probably the most bizarre March you ever encountered. Was wondering if you could just kind of recall the emotions surrounding that day, and then maybe did that make you kind of appreciate basketball and the chance to play in tournaments a little bit more than maybe you guys did before?
I hope so. I really hope not just us here at VCU, but all around the country, from the fans to all the players and everyone involved in college basketball and athletics, right? That this isn't given. This is an opportunity for all of us. We should greatly appreciate it. And I think the way you appreciate it this time of the year is you appreciate the game, you appreciate your teammates, you work really hard, be about all the right stuff. I think it's really important that when it was taken from us so quick and guys' careers were finished up, on the spot, and that's a bummer. But it just shows that nothing is given. We got to appreciate all of this, and I hope we do. There's been a lot of craziness in the world the last year here, and a lot of us were just bummed out because of basketball, right? Makes priorities become clear. So even though this is so important to us, we should appreciate it by how we approach it all, and how appreciative we should be. And we talk about that. It's one of our core values is appreciation, and this was taken away from us this time last year, so let's make sure we appreciate it by handling everything the right way.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Bet.
Wes, go ahead.
Coach, two questions. One, if you could elaborate on Mark's question. I'm writing a column about this, about the 1-year anniversary of sports shutting down. Is there something that Mike Rhoades, the sports fan, found himself that maybe you thought took for granted in sports? I mean, I know, just for example, I know you were big on going to the Diamond for the 4th of July with your family. Is there something that you look back on and say, maybe I didn't appreciate it enough just being a fan of sports?
Just things I couldn't do with my family, right? With sports. I mean, all three of my kids play a lot of basketball, and my oldest plays football, my youngest plays baseball, my daughter plays field hockey and lacrosse, and not being able to just go to one of their games and lean against a fence with an iced tea and just watch, that was a bummer. Dropping my son off at the gym the other night and not being able to go in to watch, that's a bummer. So just that, some family things, going to the baseball game on the 4th, seeing that crazy guy in those crazy pants, that's always cool. Really cool memories there. We've done that a bunch. My dad's golf tournament, usually in June up in Pennsylvania, where all my college friends and my hometown friends I grew up with, not seeing them, and we won't do it again this year just out of precaution. So that stinks. I don't have a lot of hobbies. If I'm not in the gym with the guys at VCU, I'm usually with my kids watching them do stuff. So that's been the bummer for everybody all over the world, right?
Sure.
The one great positive of this is some of the unbelievable quality time I've had with my family, because I couldn't go into work. How many dinners I had with my family that I never had because I was on the road recruiting and stuff like that. Those things I'll cherish and never take for granted again. But yeah, this definitely took a lot of things away from a lot of people.
And my second one, more pressing to now, John Rothstein had a report last night that a couple schools are looking for games in between if they're playing their conference tournament like the A-10 is. I know Richmond's been open. Are you guys looking at possibly scheduling a game? Can you do a just-in-case game? Like, how could that possibly work? And do you have the room, because of the non-conference that you played, to do that?
Yeah, you know what? We as a staff, we talked about it. We'll just see. That's sort of the best approach I have right now. We'll see. My full attention right now is on the health of our team and getting ready to play on Friday, no matter who it is. That's where all my attention is. But we've had some talks about it. But there's more pressing things right now where we're at making sure we take care of us right now. But it's definitely a conversation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Noah, go ahead.
With the A10 tournament being moved to Richmond, we're being at VCU in Richmond. How are you guys, I guess, approaching these games? Are you treating them as a home game, as a away game, just because you're not in Brooklyn or somewhere else?
Yeah, honestly, no. At this time of the year, you don't even think of that home or away. It's your opportunity to play, right? And going to Barclays is a big deal, right? Going to New York City and to Brooklyn and all that. Now it's about, hey, we're going to get to play this year. Last year we didn't get to play, so we're going to play. It doesn't matter where we play now. We will go to a hotel on Thursday. Okay, so we'll take that approach that way, and we'll get on a bus and go to an arena, either Richmond or VCU. But we're just like another team in the A10 tournament. The only thing is we know where we're walking around at, and we know our background and all that stuff. But we have to follow the same protocols as everybody else in the league playing in the A10 tournament, which we will do and we'll adhere to. But there's just some familiarity that way. But at this time of the year, you want to make sure you play the next game.
Thank you.
Bet.
Sean Robertson.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, Mike, what has surprised you about this team, given everything that has taken place with you guys, even going back to the first game or the first 3 games against in South Dakota?
They just want to compete, Sean. They want to play. They want to compete. I really appreciate that of them. Even though we're young and sometimes we're still figuring it out, right? We've improved all year long. I think we compete. I think we have an edge to us. It doesn't mean it makes everything smooth, for the game, but it does. It does make you as a coach feel good that these guys are ready to compete and they're going to play hard and go win the game. So we've played a very tough schedule, a changing schedule, and it's helped us without a doubt to be 17-6. And we were playing Saturday for regular season championship, and nobody expected us to do that. There's some great positives without a doubt, but I don't think we're done yet either. And I'm really excited to see how our guys are going to go approach this week and get ready for the weekend.
And if I could follow up, you were always optimistic about trying to get in as many games as possible. I know the number you kept talking about was 27.
Yeah.
Did it even surprise you as you are now at this point that you were able to complete a regular season? You got 23 games in, and 14 games in the conference. Did that even surprise you? You were able to get that many games in?
As we were moving along, and I was just really, I'm not going to say surprised, but yeah, there was some, we were doing things the right way. And look, you've heard me say this before, Sean, a lot of it was luck, right? We've been lucky, and I hope we continue to be lucky the rest of the way. If we didn't move the league conference championship up, we would have had 2 more this week. It would have been the 25. And I was hoping we could get as close to 27 as we could, because that's what I wanted to see the guys get, because they're the ones that have gone through all this the hard way, right, since June 5th. So probably somewhat surprised, yeah, but as we were moving along and the way Mac and Ed and our doctors and our trainer, handled our protocols and our approach, I thought we were in a good place to do this the right way and get games in. So I'm really happy that we got this many in for our guys, especially being a young team, right? Because if we were sitting around for a couple of weeks with a bunch of young guys, holy cow. Because I've heard some crazy stories around the league and elsewhere, just, being off 20, 30 days. So we were just very lucky that we weren't, and we got to play a bunch. But, if we would have played this week, we would have got 2 more in, which would have been great. That close to 27 would have, been phenomenal. But I'm glad where we got a bunch of games in for these guys. 23s, that's great.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Ben Malakoff.
Hey, Coach. So going back and talking about practice for just a second here, does this week of practice look any different than any other week of practice earlier on in the year? Are specifics changed, or are you still focusing on fundamentals?
I might need you at 1:30, Ben, on the scout team. Number-wise, just with some guys now, we just got to be really smart. That's the biggest. I'm not going to say adjustment, because you have injuries throughout the year. You got to adjust like that. But we got to make sure that our guys are very healthy and in a good place going into Friday. So I'm not going to I'm not going to crush them this week. We're going to make sure they're right, but we're not babying them either. We're going to get to work this week and be ready to go. But you don't want to leave everything on the court Wednesday afternoon in practice when your goal is to play back-to-back Friday, Saturday. So you got to have just a good feel and just making sure that we're fresh. We got great legs, and the guys that have battled some injuries feel better on Friday at 3:30 than they do today. That's the most important thing.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Wayne with follow-up.
There's another question along the lines of preparation. I was curious, what will tonight look like for you guys? Once the bracket is finalized, we kind of have, one coach work on a scout for one team, one coach for the other. How do you balance that when you're and delegate that when you're with the double bye?
Yeah, they're working on teams right now, and then one scout coach will have one team and the other will have the other team, and we'll prepare like that, and they'll have a scout report on, ready to go Tuesday morning, and then we'll prepare Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for those two teams in different ways. But again, it's still, we've seen it all, right? So to us, it's scouting. To us is still based on our foundation and how we do things defensively. It will still be us with respect to our opponent, without a doubt. But we'll be ready to scout whoever we play. We'll be ready.
Thank you.
And going back to Noah.
When you look at the last couple of games that you've had to use more of your depth without a couple of players, how much more does that make you any more comfortable or confident heading into tournament time, playing back-to-back days, possibly with just knowing that everybody can contribute right away?
Well, you say depth. We didn't have any depth. We just had the next guy up, right? Look, when somebody goes down, somebody got to step up, and we've had guys do that and in different ways. Guys that have been playing all year, changing their roles a little bit, and playing more minutes. They've stepped up. We've had guys off the bench, guys like Brendan and guys like Josh, Mikkel have given us great minutes and toughness and what we needed. So I think it helps with experience, right? So if we put those guys in on Friday, they've been through this before. Josh Banks just played 20 minutes at Davidson, right? That absolutely helps us next time out. And when we go to those guys, like anything, like in anything we do, you do it more and more, and you have experience, and you understand and have a feeling about it. You're more prepared, and you feel better, and more confident, and then you play better. And so that's a good thing. We always play a lot of guys, so guys on the edge of their seat know they could help us win. But with some of these guys going down and the depth, as you call it, stepping up, that's been huge for us, and I'm proud of the way these guys have handled it and approached it.
Thank you.
And we'll do one more from Lane.
Hey, Mike, along those lines, usually in the postseason, the bench will get shorter just because of familiarity, but you don't anticipate that. Let's say everybody is back and you have a full complement. You don't anticipate your bench getting any shorter just because it's the postseason?
Maybe at times, right, in certain game situations, scenarios, but no, we're gonna still be us. I think one of the reasons we've had the year we've had is we've had a lot of guys contribute in different ways, and we've had different guys step up that helped us, and the number of big guys we've had have really helped our interior defense at times, and I think our perimeter depth has gotten better. These young guys have really got a lot of minutes, but they've been playing all year long, so that's really helped them. So it's what we do. It's what we do. It's what we do. Could fly around now. I would hope to have everybody ready to go on Friday. We just got to see how that goes. But this is what we do. We're not changing who we are, but we are. There's different ways we can play with. I think is a huge strength of ours.